Hi everyone, we are back with another very interesting podcast, Life Uncovered with Vaibhav. Our guest today is an expert in a lot of things. He runs one of the most followed YouTube channels in India. He is an influencer, but more importantly, he is one of those influencers who has learned the product, understood the product, and then he speaks. We have had lots of discussions about other influencers who just come and speak anything out of their mind. But he is not one of them. He is also one of those who understands insurance, which is very important for इनका पहले समझो फिर खरीदो. So he very firmly believes in making sure everyone who is following him understands whatever product, not only insurance, a lot of other products. And last thing, I'm not only a subscriber, follower, multiple other things of the platform called LLA. We have Rishabh here in the house and have been following him way before I thought of इनका also. Thank you, Rishabh.
Thank you, Vaibhav. हमारा शहर है और we should of course do something like this. So glad that we are doing it.
Thank you. In fact, when I saw LLA बहुत पहले और आपके काफ़ी सारे पॉडकास्ट में मेरे ख्याल से I'm sure पॉडकास्ट बोलना गलत है, शॉर्ट्स में या वीडियोस में जोधपुर का घर होता था बिकॉज और ब्यूटी क्या होती है जोधपुर के घर के जो पत्थर होता है वो देखते ही आपको लग जाता है ये अपना शहर है. तो आई डिडंट नो अपना जोधपुर कनेक्शन टिल द टाइम रौनक एंड अदर्स इंट्रोड्यूस्ड मी टू यू. निवेदन एक्चुअली इंट्रोड्यूस्ड मी टू यू. बट व्हाट टुक यू फ्रॉम जोधपुर टू पवई? Basically, you are from IIT Bombay. So, what was your journey? How did you choose that?
So, I guess like most kids in India, if you are good at studies, only option you have is to do engineering and take science and then do engineering, and the pinnacle of sort of 12th science student is to get into IIT. So that's what I did, prepared for IIT JEE, cracked that, got civil engineering because that's the my father says that's the easiest branch and actually it was. So did BTech plus MTech. It was a dual degree program, 5 great years of my life. But throughout the college I was maybe slightly inclined towards civil engineering but not much. I was primarily focused towards extracurricular, and in specific I was the convener of the Hindi club, Vani.
Oh, lovely.
So my sort of interest towards writing and speaking started way earlier. When I was in class 11th, my first Hindi poetry book got published called मैं आप और India. 12th में I again wrote a book called Memory Aids for Chemistry, which combined chemistry with poetry. Wow. And then in college itself, I was doing all this, but this does not land you a good job. So as the fate says, I got a job but never joined that, and post-college never did a job ever. So yeah, I'm kind of unemployed IITian, and then kahin na kahin se ठोकर खाते हुए, this is where I've landed today, 10 years later.
So I would not call unemployed but an entrepreneurial IITian, which we at INCA salute a lot, but yeah, that's super important. But I didn't know about your genuinely didn't have any idea about your poetry and since school days, although like you said it didn't land you anywhere or give you anything, but I think those are the foundation.
Now looking at the hindsight, it's very important. I still remember the day when it was class 11th. I was in my coaching, which is in Jodhpur Pathshala. I was studying there, and then suddenly my father came that you have to come with me because your book is getting launched. So on that particular day, some minister was coming, and there was a big Kavi Sammelan in Gandhi Maidan. So it was the main sort of convener of this Kavi Sammelan was Shailesh Lodha. And my father knew Shailesh somehow, and then they arranged that the book will be inaugurated in that Kavi Sammelan. And there was 5,000 people in front of us. I went on the stage, everyone showed the book, and I was just coming down the stage. Shailesh stopped, "Arey, kavita to suna ke jana padega." And at that point of time, I was young. It was class 11, probably 15, 16 age, speaking in front of 5,000 people. Even though I have spoken in my school, maybe 300-400 kids, but speaking in front of 5,000 people was a beast in itself. And my legs were literally shaking inside my pant. But it was a poetry on Jodhpur, and the hook line was "Jodhpur mere Jodhpur, tujhe mera salam hai." And the first time the hook line came, everyone clapped. Then the confidence came that if I can speak as a class 11 student in front of 5,000 people, then probably if nothing else, I can actually speak in front of people. And that today has helped. Today, no matter how many people are in front of me, dignitaries, whatever, I generally do not get nervous.
In fact, at LLA, although you've got close to 5.5, 5.6 million followers on YouTube, it's a very different experience speaking to thousands of people or maybe hundreds of people live in the audience. You were recently in the program which you were mentioning. How was the experience there on the YouTube thing?
Yeah, so it's a completely sort of different thing because when you are speaking in front of camera, even though if it's a podcast itself, then you can of course cut and edit and do whatever with the thing. And I've seen various people who are not very comfortable speaking in public, but they are great speakers in front of camera. And I've seen vice versa as well. Yeah. People who are like very natural in conversations, but the moment you put them in front of camera, they become really nervous and start talking in a very different language itself. So both are sort of very different games, and I believe different sort of skill sets is required, because in front of camera you can actually rehearse your lines and speak in sort of pauses and breaks, but when speaking in front of audience, you have to command that audience, get their attention, understand the temperature and room of everything else. So as part of our India tour, we are like traveling to 6 different cities. Right. Jaipur was the first edition, now Hyderabad, Pune, Mumbai. It's primarily a financial awareness program which we are doing with stable money, but along with that, it was my manifestation for 2025 that I'll also do a small stand-up this year.
Oh, lovely.
So we have prepared a 15-minute stand-up piece, and that also goes to all these cities. I hope कहीं चप्पल नहीं मारेंगे लोग, but ठीक है.
So you, in the Jaipur one which you did, your stand-up piece.
I performed that piece, and making people laugh is really hard. It's really hard.
It's really hard.
Fortunately, I got few laughs, and I'm sure for the next set I'll improve on things and jokes and stuff. So probably by end of it, अच्छा हो जाएगा काफी.
Yeah, by end of it we should meet again and maybe record few of those.
100%.
Yeah. So what led you to LLA?
So before LLA, between college and LLA, okay, I did multiple other things. So first, for a year or so, I did structural consulting, which is building steel and structure design, and did some 40 odd projects, mostly in Western Rajasthan, Jodhpur, Bikaner. Went on the sites, dhoop mein casting karwa rahe and all those things, but the pay was terrible, and I genuinely did not enjoy that work. Post that, we started an edtech startup, Creo, with my college senior Mudit. In fact, we were the first company, probably at that point of time in Rajasthan, to raise seed funding, foreign seed funding from and people in Jodhpur didn't knew how to even get those dollars, and CA were a little confused back then. Yeah. So we raised first round of funding, and then because we were not able to find good developers in this city, and not many people were willing to travel to Jodhpur, even if we hired them from other bigger cities. So we shifted our base to Jaipur, then expanded, built a 40 people team, expanded to 5 cities. It was a one-on-one tutoring model. But by 2017-ish, first round of funding was about to get burnt out, and we were in process of raising another round. So just to cut costs, we stopped taking salaries, both the founders, until the next round was closed. So in that moment, my family was always like, "ये क्या कर रहे हो? इसमें तो पैसा तो है नहीं, किसका पैसा लिया है, वापस तो लौटाना पड़ेगा." It was hard to understand for them that the concept of equity exists, but that was the scenario all the time, because they were running this labor law consulting since last 5 decades. So unko tha कि यार someone should join this profession.
Correct.
So at that point of time, when I was not taking salary from my startup, I had to do something to survive, and I took some 10 odd clients in Jaipur. I pitched them that, okay, I am a labor law consultant. This is my family business and stuff. We are starting out in Jaipur, and fortunately, in that 6 months, we cracked some 17 companies.
Oh, wow!
And till today, most of them are still working with us. They work with my father's company, but that's how I went into labor laws. Started learning, reading about it, and while I was serving those clients and reading about labor laws and also taking help from my family to understand it better, I realized this pain point that enough information is not available on YouTube. Correct. Nobody is talking about labor laws on YouTube. There are some lectures which are primarily for legal students, law students. But there was no one explaining it practically that PF निकालना कैसे है, PF का चालान कैसे बनाना है, ESI का benefit कैसे लेना है, gratuity को calculation कैसे करते हैं. All these topics were completely missing. So that's why I started making these videos. Never imagined that one day it will reach like 5 million and stuff. Never thought that even it will cross 10,000. And Mandeep was my fitness trainer back then.
Oh wow.
Which I hired from Creo itself. So we became very good friends because we trained in the morning and ate in the night.
Yeah.
So weight to kabhi kam nahi hua. But he was very passionate about video editing. So it was a mutual partnership. I'll record labor laws videos, you edit them, and that's how this channel began. And then gradually he also started making finance related videos, primarily insurance, because that was his true passion.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I
how
need to
LLA
meet
was
Mandeep
born.
also then.
If I believe I've traveled across India, and if one influencer people can recognize with insurance is definitely Mandeep. So yeah.
Absolutely. So today, if I watch LLA, it's got so diverse educational things. It's not restricted to labor law anymore.
No.
So if I would look at 3, 4, 5 broad categories. So insurance I know, labor law I know. What would be the other broad categories?
So labor laws was like for first couple of years it was almost all labor laws. So we covered every topic under the sun which is primarily used for a salaried employee. So that was that. The next big sector for us is taxation. So our sort of how to file ITR and taxation related topics are like again very trending, and many salaried employees watch them. So our natural extension was what else for salaried employee.
Correct.
So labor laws for salaried employee, then tax for salaried employee, then personal finance, which is like little bit of mutual funds, insurance, PPF, EPF, all these topics. Very niche, very sort of not towards stock analysis or anything, but very basic stuff.
Correct.
And lastly, it's about financial awareness, which is how to stay away from scams and so on. For example, we did entire series, Grow sponsored that series called Jagruk Banna Hai. It was a 7-episode series in which every episode talked about 5 different financial scams in a very cinematic way. So yeah, so these are like broad 4 verticals which we make content on.
So if I look at, because you spoke about PF and a few other things about labor law, what are the top 3 you would say things which are missing, which people don't know but they should be aware of?
So number 1 would be that if you get a chance and your company is sort of providing you option to even beyond 15,000 salary to get enrolled in PF, then that's a very good option. Now, even though the salary bracket for tax-free insurance is 12 lakh and there are no exemptions and stuff,
correct,
but still it gives you very good return. 50 and half of that is paid by you, half of that is paid by your employer, but sort of it's combined into CTC. So that's not the benefit, but it gives you 8.5% return, and it's exempt. So for example, there is no tax while you pay it, there is no tax while it grows, and there's no tax while you withdraw the amount. So that's a very good thing. If you are below 21,000 salary, you should definitely check out ESI, Employee State Insurance, which is again mandatory. Most companies follow it, but there are some companies who do not follow. But if your company has 10 or more employees, they are mandated to follow ESI, and that takes care of all your medical needs, not just yours, but entire family. And third, I would say they should know about gratuity. If you are working in an organization continuously for 5 years, then you are entitled to get a gratuity when you sort of leave that company. Either you leave that voluntarily or they kick you out, whatever may be the case. But if you have done 5 years of continuous service, you are eligible for gratuity. So many a times we see that a lot of employers sort of renew the contract every 11 months. This is primarily to save their gratuity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of corporates renew their 11-month contract, but I didn't know that it's because of gratuity. Thank you for that.
So gratuity, bonus, there are a lot of benefits which sort of longer you work in an organization, they accumulate. So to get rid of those, many companies shuffle their employees between 2 sister companies.
Correct.
And again, this contract renewal. 11th month, then 1 month off, then rejoin with a new joining date, and all these tactics to save that 15 days a year wala amount of gratuity.
Yeah, I know a lot of schools and colleges also that they do with their teachers. They let them go before the summer vacation so that they don't have to pay the salary for summer vacation.
Yes.
From there, Rishabh, if I may say, mutual funds also you have done. We'll talk about insurance later, but mutual funds also, because you've done, you were talking. And our viewers may want to know something about mutual funds. So what are the things that people should keep in mind if they're planning mutual fund investments?
Okay. So first of all, I would not consider myself a very savvy investor because I truly believe that for a person has a particular job. So my job is creating content.
Correct.
I do not have enough time to analyze individual stocks, go through reports and invest accordingly. So I leave that to professionals, and leaving that to professionals, there is one simple way: is mutual fund. There is some guy who is managing your portfolio and you rather trust him. Second, a lot of people try to sort of time the market, that okay, I'll invest at high, I'll exit at high and invest at lows. That's a very bad strategy. Most people will not be able to follow it, and most people will not be able to predict. For example, you believe that okay, market is at high, and you stop your SIPs, and then you see that market is still going upward for next 6 months as well. So it's super hard to sort of time the market. So what I would do personally is I will continue my SIPs and also focus on my asset allocation. For example, I'm 30 or 35. I want to keep my asset 70% in equities and 30% in debt. For example, there is a market correction and my value of equity goes down. And of course, debt mutual fund do not go down as much as equity. So their portion would increase to say 40%, and then this will go to 60%. So what I would do is I'll put some of those debt funds into equity so that the ratio is balanced. And by doing this, what I've actually done is I've corrected my portfolio for that time correction, because the equities were at a lower rate. I put some debt fund into it. Similarly, when there is a boom in equity and the equity portion swells to 80%,
correct,
that would not fluctuate so much with time. Mostly liquid funds, and all these funds will not move so much.
Correct.
So at that point of time, I'll remove 10% of my equity portfolio and then put it into debt. That way, I have sort of booked some profit. Booked some profits. So if you follow this simple asset allocation strategy, that your portfolio should be balanced. Okay, plus minus 5% is okay, but if it moves further, say in 10-15% range, just sit one day, correct it, and then forget about it. Just maintain that 70-30 or whatever ratio you have decided for yourself, and continue forward.
Right. So just to recap, always trust a mutual fund over your own thing, unless and until you can do a deep research and do. Two, what you have said is it is next to impossible to time the market, so don't think you are some rock star who can time. And three, a part of the second is that asset allocation could be a substitute of, instead of timing.
Yes.
When you ever more than 5, 7, 8%, there's a shift in your asset debt to equity ratio, just allocate it again, rebalance it.
Just rebalance debt to equity or vice versa.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds a very wonderful and a sane advice. What do you see from LLA? Are you and these shows which you're doing offline tours? What is the next thought?
So I have always been an entrepreneur at heart, and I love building 0 to 1 ventures.
Correct.
1 to 10 and 10 to 100 is a altogether different beast, which I do not enjoy so much. Hopefully someone from my team would be able to do it, but what I truly enjoy is doing 0 to 1 businesses. So throughout last 7-8 years of building LLA, I've done multiple different ventures.
Okay.
And first of all, why I was able to do it, because I had a very big distribution. So one thing I do not need to worry about is marketing.
Correct.
So whatever product I'll launch, how niche or how broad it would be, I know I'll get some early traction for it.
Correct.
So from 2017, I guess it was till 2020, my other venture was also running in parallel. So the focus was not on LLA. LLA was kind of a weekend project, which from 2017 to 2020, we used to make one long video a week and post it, shoot it on weekend and so on. But when COVID hit, LLA became the full-time thing. And From that, we did multiple other things. The first venture which we launched was LLA Professional Training Institute. There we started with tax planning course and PF compliance course and ESI compliance course and all those things. And to date, over 100,000 professionals have learned through those courses. Then we also started an app called Quick Payroll, which was for small businesses to manage their employee attendance and payroll. Ran it for 3 years. Didn't have tech capabilities, so app rating got really bad. It used because we outsourced the tech development and had to close. So again, part of any venture, but it scaled to 18,000 people. It was impossible to do it via traditional means, but thanks to LLA, we were able to do it, and content specifically. We also, 2021, we also started a journal brand called Jagruk Journals. And today it is a community of few thousand people who journal every day in that specific page, a guided journal. Jagruk Journal, Jagruk Planners. Last year, we also launched a chai brand called Jagruk Premix Chai.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And utter failure. We sold out, of course, the stock, but not gonna do it because FMCG is again very different beast. There are margins are razor thin, and you cannot sell it for a premium, and cannot compete with people who are like producing 1,000 times of what you are doing. So that we also started a community called AI Powered Entrepreneurs, which has grown into a community of 4,000 people now. Again, objective is to help them scale 0 to 1 quickly with help of community, AI tools, and some business knowledge. So yeah, so all these ideas come, and again, this India tour is a thing which we do. We do a lot of events, such as we host this no agenda party called Pink Odyssey. Every year, February end in Jaipur, and we invite some 200 creators, artists, all sponsored, no tickets, invite only, just because it's fun. So yeah, it's जो मन आता है वो करते हैं तरह तरह की चीजें. It's not, I am not running towards any number or $1 billion valuation or nothing. I believe I am truly satisfied at what I'm at right now, and just looking for more unique experiences for myself and my team.
I think very well said, not running after $1 billion, because very dear friend who was sitting on that same chair 2-3 days back when we were talking, and he said the same thing. The definition of success to everyone is different. For someone, 2 is success, for someone, 100 is a success. And you have to be happy with whatever you are looking for. You don't have to see कि दूसरे को क्या मिल रहा है, वो वाली happiness हो.
सही बात.
Now, you also very well put that you, because have a market, you already have people. So marketing is not a concern. Reaching out to thousands of people, lakhs of people is also not a concern. One learning which you have said, and this is very important, is diversification into B2C FMCG products is not your cup of tea, literally, because it was tea. But and I've seen a lot of Jagruk related subsets that you keep on creating. What is your thought on financial literacy over independence, financial independence? Let me put it that way. What is more important, financial independence for someone or financial literacy?
I believe without financial literacy, it's very hard to achieve financial independence. But before that, I'll put a philosophical thought. There are 2 happy guys in any room. One is that guy who was aiming for a car, got that, and he's happy. And the other person who never dreamt of that car in the first place. So I believe your financial independence depends upon how do you look at the world and what are your aspirations as well. For example, someone like me, I could afford expensive cars, but you saw I drove a scooter, and I in Jaipur also I live in a rented flat happily. I have a Tiago which I run, and so I do not have any fancy aspirations that okay, this is what I need, these kind of clothes I would wear, and doesn't matter. So I believe someone like that could achieve financial independence way quicker, because their expenses and their lifestyle can be supported at a smaller cost.
Correct.
So ultimately, what financial independence is, whatever amount of your monthly spendings are, you are able to generate that with just your investments or passively. If you are able to do that, then you are financially independent. That number will come at 4 crore, 10 crore, 20 crores, 100 crores, depends upon what are your expenses. So, yeah.
Very well put. On that note, because you've seen my car that way. I was a very firm believer of not having a car, and I didn't have one in Bombay for a very long time till COVID happened. And the vehicle which I drive today, there's a very funny story behind it. When people see it, they say, "Oh, you are passionate. You have chosen a red car, and you have chosen this vehicle, that vehicle." I said, "No." I called up all the stores that were in my vicinity. I used to stay in Powai. कि किसके पास ready vehicle पड़ी है, because COVID हो गया and I don't want to use a Uber now.
Yeah.
So the only vehicle which was available, could be dropped at home and paperwork could be done, was the vehicle which I drive. And now when I meet passionate drivers, I feel sometimes bad because they tell me, इस कार में ये भी फीचर है. मेरे को आइडिया नहीं था, मैं कहा मजबूरी में ली है. And then these people actually get very offended. इस कार को तुम मजबूरी कह रहे हो. मैंने कहा सर जो मिल गई वो ले ली. मैं कहा कोई चॉइस नहीं था इसमें. अगर कभी चॉइस होगा, I would always choose a white car because white goes with my personality, wearing the black shirts which I wear.
Yeah. So similar sort of analysis I did. So I didn't add a car again till post COVID, till 2022 or 23. Again, Uber was the mode I used to travel. But when my daughter was in we enrolled her to school, then it became little difficult because we have to pick him up, and at that point of time, sometime Uber would not come and it get delayed. So we didn't wanted her to stay at school for longer durations.
Correct.
So we thought that now we have to get a car. But what should be the criteria? So criteria were very simple. I do not drive car much, so my wife's gonna drive. So it needs to be smaller so that she can park easily. So it needs to be a hatchback. Second, in hatchback, it has to have all the safety features. So 4 or 5 star rating it needs to have. Since she's not able to drive the manual wala, so she needs automatic. So automatic. With these 3 criteria, whichever is the cheapest car will get that. And since Tata had 4 or 5 star rating, and Tiago that time they just launched the automatic wala variant, so that was in our budget. We got it in like 8 lakh or 7 something. Yeah.
So I think similar stories, but COVID has actually made a lot of people do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, I could not have thought of building a startup. Pre-COVID, I could not have thought of doing remote working. Pre-COVID, I don't think I would have thought of being on a podcast, at least as a host. So a lot of things COVID has taught.
Yeah.
On that note, from a COVID hospitalization and other things perspective, what are your thoughts on insurance? Because LLA is super influential and a super powerful tool when it comes to insurance.
So I have a very basic sort of guidelines for insurance, and I'm sure your audience would already know this. First is to not mix your investments with insurance. A lot of people do that mistake because then they say that if I'm paying a premium, I should get something in return. Insurance by design is not to get something in return as a proper return and growing your money. It's primarily a tool to hedge your risks. And उसके लिए आप premium दे रहे हो, that's supposed to not get back. So by that, for example, if you are buying a term insurance, you can get it in 5, 7, 10k में 1 crore का cover. But if you are going for a ULIP where you have to pay 1 lakh rupees for 11 years, then from 13 years onwards you'll start receiving 1 lakh back, and then at end of 27th year you will receive 50 lakh whatever. So in that scenario, what if by 3rd year you are not able to pay 1 lakh rupees? Then your entire 2 years, 2 lakh rupees also goes into waste. And if something, God forbid, something happens to you, the insurance amount itself is very little, 20 lakh, 25 lakh. That won't suffice for your family. So one, don't mix your insurance and investments.
Absolutely.
Second, why health insurance is important? Because most Indian families are just a disease away from going bankrupt.
Absolutely.
The costs of private hospital healthcare is insane, and of course a lot of middle class folks cannot go to or do not wish to go to government facilities. Thankfully, we are in state like Rajasthan where government and RGHS and different sort of insurance schemes cover a lot of people, and I've seen facilities at AIMS and say SMS Jaipur, and they're quite good.
Correct.
But I've seen other states as well where you are not able to get these facilities, and even after having these facilities, you're not gonna get bed and dates in emergency. So for that, you have to have a health insurance cover as well. So yeah.
So you're saying when you're looking of life, keep it as simple as term. Don't think about ULIPs and investments. Also, very importantly said that make sure that you're not thinking about return of money coming in when you buy insurance.
Yes.
It is not a movie ticket ki entertainment chahiye. And health insurance should be there because any time of point emergency hogi. So in fact, one of my mentors, advisors, this gentleman called Mr. Vikas Agniotri, when I was talking to him, and generally insurance, whenever I talk, I give a recommendation or I say, hopefully na jana pade hospital, hopefully death now, and things like that. You don't want to bhadak se. And his point was very interesting and right at the same time. He said, no, hopefully ये बोलो कि hospital late जाना पड़े. हॉस्पिटलाइज सबको कभी ना कभी होना ही पड़ेगा, ऐसा कोई नहीं है जो हॉस्पिटलाइज नहीं होगा. तो यू कैन फील कि ना इंश्योरेंस ले लो कि हॉस्पिटलाइज नहीं होगे. यू शुड बाय हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस थिंकिंग कि जब 2025 नहीं 2032 कभी तो कभी हो गए, तब तुम्हारे पास रहे, और तब तुम यू थिंक अबाउट द बेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट एंड नॉट द कॉस्ट यू कैन सेव बाय कटिंग सम कॉर्नर्स.
Fair point.
So that's super important. So term and health, and when it comes to still a lot of people saying कि health में मेरे को पैसा नहीं आ रहा है या term में मेरे को पैसा नहीं आ. Have you heard people asking you those questions?
No, these are like very basic questions because the majority of India got introduced to insurance through LIC.
Correct.
And LIC and their sort of agents, nothing wrong with it, and I commend their work, because if people in India at least know this term, a lot of credit goes to LIC and their agents.
Correct.
But because of their own incentive systems and because of, again, people's mindset in India, it's very hard to pay for something and not get anything in return.
Correct.
So that was the mindset. So at least a penetration of insurance is higher because of everything they did. But on the downside, now people are sort of habitual and actively looking for a premium which sort of pays them in return. So that's how generations have got their first introduction to insurance. And now when you tell them a term that okay, you are paying a term insurance premium of 7,000 rupees and until age 60, until age 75, whatever, and you're not gonna get anything back, they think what kind of scam it is. So I guess with more maturity and with more sort of financial literacy, this notion will break, and it's breaking slowly. And all these aggregators, including Inca, they are in forefront of people who are actively looking for this kind of policies, term insurance, and they are not going to agents for this. They are just going online and getting their insurance as well.
That's true. So in fact, we as one of the IIT approved distributors, a lot of insurance companies come to us kind of putting some pressure or pushing at least that you should start ULIPs, because average ticket size suddenly jumps. Like you gave the example of 1 lakh, a customer who can pay 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs, when he takes a term plan, he ends up paying 7, 8, 10,000 rupees.
Right.
So average ticket size for insurance companies suddenly becomes 1/10 or maybe 1/7. It's drastically low. So we have made sure that at our end we have put across a clear note that we will not do traditional savings, which are endowment and money back, or ULIPs. Protection is the key. Just to add, what we have also realized, and we have launched something on cancer and cardiac, which I was speaking to you about, where a lot of hospitalization expenses can be covered through health, but a lot of expenses don't get covered, which are over and above hospitalization. So that's something we are doing at Inca, being slightly over and above what others are doing.
So these riders are again a very interesting space, because a person of course also gets confused with so many riders and options they have to choose, and which to take, which not to take. Not just in term and health, but even say car insurance.
Correct.
Like you should, like zero dep you should take or not, engine protection you should take or not. And when the person is so confused while buying insurance for their car, for of course the machinery which we are carrying all the time, it becomes really more 100 times more complicated. What I would suggest all the insurance companies and everyone else is to simplify and educate people better that okay, this is the rider you need, this is the rider you do not need. And I believe the true trust comes, for example, if there is the guy teaching people business and he enrolls everyone in his program without even seeing that whether this person has business acumen or not, whether this person is even passionate about doing a business or not, then I don't think it will sort of survive very long. And because a program is successful when its graduates also, most of its graduates also get to do things which they enrolled in for. For example, IITs are successful because most IIT engineers would end up getting good salary or build something of their own. So that's how a pedigree builds. Similarly, if an insurance company would say that okay, we have these 7 riders along with it, but you only need one of this. You do not need 6 of them. That would build a lot of trust in audience of okay, they are not just selling to sell. They are selling that okay, this particular rider is not for you. You're not even married. Why are you looking for pregnancy rider, for example?
Correct.
So something like that. By saying no to some business, you earn loyalty from your audience.
I am so happy. Whatever you have said, although you are not a part of Inca journey right now, this is exactly what we do. So a lot of riders we say no to, like pregnancy, not only when you're not married. So let's say you are 48, like I'm not 48, but let's say a person is 48, already is married, has 2 children. We understand most of the 48-year-old men in India who already have 2 children will not be planning. So why to go for that product?
Of course.
So we are absolutely, and also what we have done at Inca is we have made sure that everyone finishes the need analysis before they even think of the product. It's very important to understand the profile before we recommend. So thank you. Any last words from your side?
First of all, those who are not knowing this, we are shooting this in Rajasthan, in Jodhpur, which is my hometown, and so happy to see people from Jodhpur building global brands, and I congratulate you for doing this from this city.
Thank you.
And I hope people watch this, and whosoever watching this, please do share, comment, like, subscribe, all the things. Yeah. So best of luck to you and everyone else. Hi.
Yeah. Any questions? Just drop a comment. We'll be more than happy to answer. Thanks again.